I want to play for you a quick clip of this detestable piece of shit. And you know, of course, who I'm talking about. It's something that he said at some sort of black tie event. He was talking about President Biden, calling him a stupid person, a mean SOB, and telling people not to feel sorry for him for what he's going through right now, obviously referencing his cancer. No one should feel sorry for Joe Biden because he's a mean SOB. This is the President of the United States talking about a former president who recently, was diagnosed with cancer. I think it's important for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I think it's important that we not become numb to what a disgusting piece of shit this man is. We all know this, but I think that it's important for us still to recognize when he does and says things like this and not just go, oh yeah, he's a piece of shit, we know that. I think we need to draw attention to it. Don't assume, if you're on social media, if you have family and friends, you can make them aware of this. Don't assume they know this stuff. A lot of them don't. And I think we need to force people to look at this man for the disgusting piece of shit that he is. And call these people out who voted for this. Anyway, watch this.
The very angry, mean Biden. Biden was always a mean guy, but never a smart guy. Even you go back 30 years ago, 40 years ago, he was a stupid guy, but he was always a mean son of a bitch, How's it working? Not working too well for him right now, as it says. So when you start feeling sorry for him, remember, he was a bad guy.
Yeah, I'm out of words describing what a trash human being this is. And it's still, after all these years, after having gone through an entire term with this guy, everything in the ensuing years when he was out of power, and now that he's been reelected and president again, I still find it hard to believe we're here and that the United States has a president like this absolute piece of shit. And by the way, while I'm thinking about it, I said that the United States has a president. Because, words matter to me, and the way people phrase things, it matters to me. One thing you will never hear me say is I will never refer to him as my president. I've never referred to any president as my president because I don't have a president. The government has a president. If you want to say the country, I guess, has a president, if you want to put it in that way. But I don't even like to say that. There is a president in our federal governmental system. He is one branch of government. But however you may want to phrase it, he's not your president. He's not my president. I don't report to a president. There is no president who has control over my life. I am not answerable, and I don't need permission from a president. He's not the president of me. He doesn't dictate shit to me. He has a role within the federal government. And I don't know, maybe this isn't the distinction that has any importance to you, but it does to me. I can't stand when people say that because you hear it all the time. He's not my president. When Biden was president, Republicans would say, he's not my president. Now Trump is president, you'll hear people say, he's not my president. Or you'll hear the other side say, suck it up, he's your president or something like that. No. No one is my president. I'm a free American citizen. I don't have a president. The government, there is an officer within the federal government called the president who has certain enumerated authorities under our Constitution and our laws. That's it. I do not have a president. Another thing that pisses me off, and this is another one. when people refer to the president as the commander-in-chief. Like you'll hear it refer, the media will do that a lot, the commander-in-chief or our commander-in-chief. But they're not referring to him in his role as commander-in-chief. Because I don't have a commander-in-chief. You don't have a commander-in-chief. The only people in our country who have a commander-in-chief are active duty members of the military. Okay, the commander-in-chief, the Constitution makes the president the commander-in-chief of the military. But he's not the commander-in-chief over the government or over you or me. He's only the commander-in-chief of the military. He's not the commander-in-chief of the country. Do people understand that? Do people get that? Do you know what it means to refer to him? Oh, he's our commander-in-chief? Well, that means he gets to command you. No, he's not your commander-in-chief. He's only commander-in-chief over the military. It's an important distinction. His role, if you read Article 2 of the Constitution, his job is not president and commander-in-chief. He's the president. And later in section, the first line of Article 2 says that the executive power of the United States shall be vested in a president. Okay, so he's president. Then later on in Article 2, where it talks about the powers of the president and the duties of the president, it says that the president shall serve as the commander-in-chief of the military. That's because they wanted the military to be under civilian control. So they made the president, who is the executive branch of the government, made him also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So Article 2 makes very clear, he's only commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He's not commander-in-chief of the country. And he's certainly not commander-in-chief over the citizens of the country. The language that you use when talking about the government, and specifically the way in which people talk about the president, reveals a lot about how you think about the president and his role in our constitutional system. And to me, when people use the phrase, my president, to me, that's someone who I don't think understands or appreciates the role of the president and the limited role of the president in our system, and does not recognize what our relationship between the free American citizen and our government is supposed to be. Free American citizens don't have a president. The government does. And free American citizens don't refer to the President of the United States as my commander-in-chief, unless you are an active duty member of the military, subject to the commands and the orders of the commander-in-chief. Other than that, he's not your commander-in-chief. I just wish people would give more thought to the way this country was set up and what the relationship of the citizen is to the government in our system. A lot of people seem to take on the language, anyways, I think I've said enough about this. Maybe I'll talk more about this another day, but honestly, actually, I have to get going, because if you could see behind me, this pond is really low, and there's an area where a puddle essentially now has been cut off from the rest of the pond, and it's all but completely dried up, and there's a whole bunch of fish in there. And I'm here with my bucket and net to go save some of them. I've already saved a whole bunch of them this morning. Got a bunch of sunfish and bass and catfish and crawfish and, as I say up here, crayfish. I've lived in different areas of the country where you refer to that animal by crawfish or crayfish. I grew up crayfish, but I lived for quite a while in areas of the South where we call them crawfish. But anyway, crayfish. And Got a couple little pickerel in there also. Anyway, I gotta go save them. When I walked past it a little while ago, I saw a water snake had set up in the puddle, found himself some good eating. So, hey, you know, water snakes gotta eat too. And I'm sure there's still a lot of fish left, so I need to go save them. Anyway, not that you care about that, or maybe you do. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.